So I came to LeTourneau after I worked at Boise State University for about 6 years. And then at that time, I didn't do well in terms of funding, external funding, obtaining external funding. So that I wrote quite a bit of research proposal and didn't go well. And only a few successful one. So that my research wasn't doing well at that time. And so that I noticed that at that time, I know that it is probably not there for me. There is no place to stay there. So I looked around. I looked at like a newsletter showing that LeTourneau has some opening. And at that time, I was more interested in a smaller Christian university, and which has engineering, strong engineering emphasis. So that is, and also those newsletter is just job description is exactly what I was doing. And especially there's a lab here, and so that I can use those equipment, and I can do, in a sense, better teaching. So that I just applied, and so that I think that is I liked what LeTourneau had, but when I applied, I wasn't so sure if I should come here or not. But the Boise State was almost closing the door, so that I was kind of pushed to come to LeTourneau or Longview. So that looking back, I wasn't that happy at when I changed my position, but now I definitely feel that God closed the door in the one chapter of my life, and you should come to here. So I see those God guidance, but at that time I was, again, it's not very happy about that. So that now I feel that, definitely feel that the God is pushing me and into a certain direction. Otherwise, I wasn't quite sure what I would do. And so timing-wise, almost perfect that when I found that this is the position is probably not working in the future, and at that time, the LeTourneau had an opening, and that's almost exact job description is exactly what I did, or I have been doing, so that it is just closing one position, opening one position. So it's very clear to me. But in terms of my heart, initially I wasn't that excited in a sense, because of the situation wasn't very pleasant. But now I love here, and I'm so glad that God opened the door for me at the LeTourneau in the Longview. So that is a kind of journey to come to LeTourneau. Not necessarily I chose as a first choice, but because of the situation that I had, and God opened the door, not knowing that is God is closing and opening. Not necessarily I noticed that, but after I came here, I definitely I'm convinced that this is God's direction, or God's guidance. So now I'm in biomedical engineering, and the senior design team is this year, or last few years, we are working on a prosthetic knee joint for the amputee patient. And the one problem is that the amputee patient tend to fall, because the knee joint is, we call the buckling. So when the users try to put their weight on the prosthetic side, if the knee joint is not completely extended, then it tends to buckle. And usually we have those muscles to prevent the buckling, but the prosthetic knee do not have those the muscles basically, so that it has to be always, almost always has to be extended, fully extended when the weight is on the knee joint. So now our senior design team is trying to develop a new type of new knee joint that prevent buckling even when the knee is not fully extended. And those are sometimes when we want to, let's say, step on the curb or a little bit different terrain, then those situations occurs when your foot is on the ground. At that point, sometimes the knee is flexed, and we can take care of those, but amputees, transfemoral amputee, it cannot take care of those, so that when that situation happens, the knee will buckle. But this knee they are trying to develop is to prevent the buckling, but not completely fixed at the angle, but from here they can extend, so that it has some function to prevent the buckling, which is lead to falling, but that knee doesn't lock at that point. It can allow the extension, so that it has some kind of new functionality there. So those are the what they are trying to develop. And my vision is this biomedical engineering. My area is biomechanics, so that in the future, anything related to improving the human movement, it could be continuously to work on the prosthetic design, or some developing a certain assistive device that can facilitate that rehabilitation process. So those are some of the anything related to human movement, and improving the impaired movement to a certain level, as normal as possible. So that is what I want to do here, and senior design is one of the most obvious opportunities. So that is what I would like to continue to work on. I think the Christian education here, I'm so excited. I think because that this is the college age is a transition from a youth to adult, and typically those college student has been quote quote taker, which means need more. Somebody has to care, so that they need, let's say, financial support from maybe parents or someone. But after college, they are giver. We should be a giver rather than taker. So that this is an extremely important transition period between being a taker and being a giver. So that this education, is a Christian education, is extremely important, because we want to, all Christians want to contribute to His kingdom, so that to contribute to His kingdom is becoming a giver rather than taker. We need to take some, of course, but not only taking everything, but we should start to give, and that is an important transition period, so that we engineering department try to make them as competent as possible as an engineer, but at the same time we can tell them that kingdom mindset, so that they can be a contributor after they finish the academic program here. So that those two area, the technical competence and also spiritual maturity that can be done in here, so that I'm very excited. And yeah, so that's why one of the reasons that I'm excited, and I'm so glad I'm at the LeTourneau.